So in the few moments we have, one thing I wanted to go back to in your book was the greed myth, believing that the essence of free enterprise is greed.
That's the key myth that I think sort of stumps everyone. The question's not whether there are greedy people. Look, I'm a Christian. I think that the human race has fallen. Gather 2 or 3 people together, and there's going to be some greed in the mix. The question is whether free enterprise as a system is based on greed. That's absolutely untrue. If anything, and this has been argued since Adam Smith first argued it, what free enterprise system does is it channels both people's ingenuity and their creativity into socially beneficial outcomes, and it has the capacity even to channel our greed and our selfishness into beneficial outcomes. The butcher, or the brewer, or the baker, for instance, even if he or she is selfish, in order to make a profit, the best thing he can do is actually provide something that people will freely buy. So markets, while they can channel greed, are absolutely not based on greed.
Well, and you also make the point that people can have impure motives, but if they want their businesses to succeed, it doesn't matter what their motives are. It matters whether they've created something the marketplace wants.
That's exactly right.
And you point out that the guys that founded Home Depot didn't exactly do it as they were not as angels, maybe as fallen angels.
They wanted revenge over their former employer.
How's that story?
Yeah, I mean, they'd worked for Handy Dan. They essentially got fired and got together and said, okay, let's make a better competitor. But to make a better competitor, they didn't blow up Handy Dan. What they did is they created a company that was a heck of a lot better. And now most people don't even remember Handy Dan. That's the market.
Explain. You quoted Adam Smith just a minute ago, and he came up with something that not sure I completely understand, which is the invisible hand of the market, which is people acting like Bernie and Arthur Blanket and creating Home Depot. And there are all sorts of other people like that building their own businesses, and they've got suppliers. Somehow this self-organizes in a way that he called the invisible hand.
That's right. And the idea is that this just happens under any circumstances. Just get a bunch of people together and you're going to get an amazing, well-distributed market. But rather in what he called the natural system of liberty, in which you have the rule of law, private property rights, all those things are in place. Then what happens is that people just pursuing their sort of ordinary interest, right? Like, well, I need to make some money to pay for my daughter's braces, will participate in a system that creates wealth for everyone overall, so that you have a system that is ordered and structured and looks designed, but isn't designed intentionally by any one person.
The book we're talking about that Jay has written is called Money, Greed, and God, and it's one of the best books I've come across in explaining how markets work, why they're moral, why they're good for people.